Hello, Katie. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine, Abu. Thank you.
Okay, you seem very busy these days. Were
Oh, I
you
am.
okay?
I've just been on holiday, actually. The last week I was on holiday.
Okay, how was it?
It was utterly awesome. The best holiday I've ever been on.
Okay, so you like traveling?
Um, hmm, that's an interesting one. Not really, but I went to somewhere very nearby to do an activity.
Mhm.
I prefer activity holidays
Okay,
to actually traveling from country to country or place to place.
okay. So, what do you do on holidays?
We tend to do activities like painting, and this time we went to a place with a herd of horses to
Mm-hmm.
get healing from the horses,
Mm-hmm.
and it was utterly amazing.
Okay, okay. So, are there many tourists visiting in your country? Are there many tourists visiting your country?
So, so lots of tourists come to Britain, or they used to before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of tourists, but they mainly come to strategic places like London, York, and Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain places that tourists visit, but Britain is utterly beautiful. The countryside is lovely. It's green because we get so much rain.
Mm-hmm.
The countryside is lovely and green. So there are many places that tourists never visit,
Mm-hmm.
which are gorgeous in this
Okay.
country.
Can you tell me some of them?
Um, for example, there's a little abbey, which is a place where monks live.
Mm-hmm.
Just up the road from me in
Okay.
Prinish, a place called Prinish.
Mm-hmm.
And you almost never get foreign tourists coming there because it's not really known about.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my students came over from Japan and they stayed in my town and I took them to Prinish
Okay.
and they said it was the most beautiful place they had ever been to.
Okay.
They absolutely loved it. But it's just a really small place. It's really off the tourist track,
Mhm.
but it's so beautiful.
Okay. Thank you very much. So now I would like to give you a cue card, and do you have a minute to think it about? Then you can
Mhm.
start. Okay.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
The tourist attraction which I wish to talk about is the London Eye.
Mhm.
It's situated right in the centre of London.
Mhm.
I visited it maybe 15 years ago. I can't remember how long ago. It was built for the millennium. It was built for the year 2000. And I visited it maybe 2005, but I can't remember exactly when. And I went there with my mother, and she was very keen to travel on the London Eye. And you kind of get into a capsule on this tourist attraction, and it very slowly goes around, really, really slowly. So it moves almost imperceptibly. It's going so slowly, but you get a bird's eye view of London
Mhm.
as you're going up and up and up, and
Right.
you can see lots of London landmarks across the Thames. To be honest, I know I'm meant to say the thing I like best about it, but I found I was rather bored by the time we got to the top because we were going so slowly that I'd seen everything and I
Mhm.
wanted to see some more. But you've only got one view because it's like there's only it doesn't travel from place to place. It's just stationary in this particular place on the Thames. I think the thing I took away from it was the because I was with my mother and it was special to go to London with my mother and go on the London Eye and be with her in that capsule. That is the thing I took away. The special memory I have is that it was a family time.
Okay, thank you very much. So why do you think tourism is so developed now?
You know, I think everybody has the urge to travel. It's, I think there's a basic human instinct to want to travel to other places and see other places. And people get bored of their routine lives, just go to work, come back, be in the same city. And they just want to see new things and experience new experiences. So I really believe that there's a basic human need to actually go beyond your limits and go into the unknown.
Okay, thank you. So how people choose their destination?
How do people choose their destination?
Yeah.
I think for many people in Britain, because the weather is quite cool, or used to be very cool even in summer, they want to go to a hot place. So they choose Spain or Greece. They choose somewhere that has a lot of sunshine and that they know it's very unlikely to rain. So we get tired of the rain in Britain. We get bored of it raining all the time. So when we choose a holiday destination, we choose somewhere where the precipitation is not great. But on the other hand, there are also landmarks, and people go to see landmarks. So maybe 10 years back, before the Arab Spring, people would go to Egypt to see the pyramids. And those are very beautiful landmarks that people would travel to. Or they go for experiences, like people are attracted to Japan because of Japanese food and the difference in culture.
Okay.
Or
So
that kind of thing.
Okay, so do you prefer traveling alone or in a two groups?
I prefer traveling with my partner, Mike. So we travel together. I don't know, I like going to places and meeting people there, but I don't have a kind of group that I would travel with. It's not like some of my friends, either they drink alcohol, and Mike and I don't drink alcohol, and we wouldn't want to be there in the group and it all to be alcohol.
Okay.
So it's like, and my other friend is very disabled, and honestly, if we went abroad somewhere, I'd have to be her carer, and so I'm not going with her.
Okay. Nobody would want. So last questions I have for you is, what kind of transport do you prefer when you are on holidays?
That's an interesting one, because if you're in a foreign city, it's often easier to take a taxi.
I see.
If you take a taxi, you can see the surrounds, you can see the landmarks. But if you take a bus, it's like, where do you get off the bus? Like, you get on the bus and you know the destination.
Right.
But where do you get off the bus? It's like, it's really difficult to know exactly where you are and which stop to alight from.
Okay. Thank you very much, Katey. Thank you. It was a fantastic talk with you, and I'll see you again. Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, Abu.
It's almost 3 p.m.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Allah Hafiz. So, how was the performance? It was a fantastic performance made by Katey. She deserves a band 9 in her speaking for this particular performance. She has used so many good collocations, expressions in her speaking, and she was quite fluent throughout her speech, throughout her exam. Obviously, she deserves a band 9 in pronunciation, band 9 in grammar, and band 9 in fluency. She might deserve a band 8 in lexical resource, but overall I would say it deserves a band 9 in speaking. So now let's analyze some of her expressions that she has used in her speaking. Maybe we'll be able to employ them into our speaking, and if we can employ them into our speaking, we will be able to boost our speaking scores. So let's begin. Firstly, she said, I've been on holiday. I've been on holiday. This means she was on a holiday, but now she's back. And then she said, it was utterly awesome. What a beautiful expression it was. Utterly awesome and so much beautiful. And then she said, the best holiday I have ever been on. That means it was her best holiday. She really enjoyed it a lot. And then she used another expression, tend to. She said, we tend to do activities. You can use this particular expressions when you like to do something. You can say, in my free time, I tend to watch television. I tend to watch sports on TV in my free time. In my free time, I tend to go out with my friends. I love to hang out with them. So, tend to. And then she said again, utterly amazing. What a beautiful expression it was. You can obviously try to employ it into your speaking. And then she said, there are many places that tourists never visit. Nice structure. You can use this one as a complex sentence. It's a complex sentence. There are many places that tourists never visit. This means in her country there are so many places. There are so many beautiful places where people go, but there are some beautiful places where people don't normally go. And then again, it's not really known about. That means that not much known to people, or people do not really visit there. And then she said, it is the most beautiful places that I have ever been to. That means she has been to the place and that was fantastic. That was the most beautiful in her life or in their life. They have been to so many places, but that was the most beautiful place that they have been to. And then that was from her part 1. Part 1. Now we will analyze her cue card. In her cue card, she was quite fluent and she talked quite naturally, and she used so many good expressions, and I will just pick up some of her good collocations and structures. Firstly, she said she started with a very nice structure. You should employ it. You should try to apply it into your speaking. Let's say she said, the tourist attraction which I wish to talk about is the London Eye. What a beautiful structure it was. It deserves a band 8 in speaking for grammar. And then if you can use it. Okay, the tourist attraction which I wish to talk about is London Eye. So it was built from the millennium. It was built from the millennium. Nice use of vocabulary, lexical resource. So you got a bird's eye view of London. So when you are on the top of London Eye, you got a bird's eye view of London. What a beautiful idiomatic expression she has used. So these are the expressions she has used in her cue card, and she was quite fluent, and it was very easy to understand her. And it seems that she really enjoyed the tour that she made with her family. And then finally, when I asked her some questions from part 3, she has used some good vocabulary, right, like human instinct, and she elaborated her questions, her answers. So obviously it was band 9 again. So guys, you can watch it back and you can pick up some of the phrases she has used. Have you noticed any more collocations, structures? You can write it down below. And obviously you can follow us, you can like us, and obviously you can put a like on this video. And I'll be coming with another video. Hopefully I'll see you again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.